Welcome to this video showing physiotherapy exercises to get your strength and mobility back after surgery for a wrist fracture. Today is May the 4th, Star Wars Day, and that makes it about 38 days since the schools closed as part of the coronavirus lockdown. 26 days ago, I broke my left radius falling off my bike. I suffered what's called a Barton's fracture with some volar displacement, and I needed open reduction and internal fixation so that it would heal properly. This was done 19 days ago, and I spent the first 14 days in a plaster of Paris back slab. The back slab was removed 5 days ago, at which time I was given a leaflet with some exercises. I tried the exercises a couple of times before having my first physio appointment 3 days ago. So today is day 4 of physio, and I have noticed an enormous improvement already. You will see that I still have a lot of restriction in movement and strength, but that's why we've got to keep going. So with that in mind, let's get started. The first two movements we're going to do are flexion and extension of the wrist, and I'll put the arms sideways so you can see them better. Here we have flexion and extension. And now for the bad wrist. Flex the wrist and hold for 5 seconds, then extend the wrist and hold for 5 seconds. Repeat this movement 5 times. You can see how much poorer the movement is in this wrist than on the other. The next movement is supination, which is turning your hands so the palm faces upwards. It's important to do this movement from the forearm and not from the shoulder, and a way to do this is to either fix the elbow in at the side of your body or rest your entire forearm down on a couch or table. The next movements are ulnar and radial deviation, which means tilting the hand either towards the pinky or towards the thumb. They are strange and awkward movements even when you're doing them with your good hand. However, they're much worse with the injured hand. As you can see, my wrist is barely moving at all, and this is the most painful of the exercises so far. Next up is the thumb. A major muscle which moves the thumb is mobilized during the operation, and some recovery is required from this. The exercise sheet suggests you should touch your thumb to each of your fingers before sliding your thumb down to the base of your little finger. Keep your eye on the index finger of my left hand, which flexes without me meaning to when I strain my thumb. So instead of just touching each finger, I'm pressing and holding for 5 against each finger in turn, before stretching across to the base of my little finger for 5 seconds, and then lifting my thumb and flexing its interphalangeal joint 5 times. You can clearly see what I mean about the difference between the two index fingers. The next exercise is straightforward. Just spread the fingers as wide as possible and hold for 5 seconds. Last up for the hands is to make as tight a fist as possible, hold for 5 seconds and release. With the hands done, it's time to move on to the arm to make sure your shoulder and elbow don't get stiff while protecting your wrist. Okay, so the first recommended exercise is clasp the hands together and shoulder flexion, raise them up above the head. Okay, external rotation of the shoulder, so that's reach behind the back of your head. Internal rotation is reach round your back. And finally, flexion and extension of the elbow. I was advised that little and often was the key. I've been trying to do these exercises at least 5 times a day, and hopefully, when time passes, my wrist will be back to full strength and full function. Best of luck.